going to go live. Okay, here we go. So Poltava is where we're considering launching our German attack in the clear weather for the March 2 turn. And you can see that it's near Kharkov. And the Soviets have an 8-4 army, a garrison entrenched. And the Axis are building up forces in the area, including this Panzer Corps coming over. So we'll see what's going to happen around the Battle of Poltava this turn. Okay, anything else you want to say? Just special movement.
Yeah. We have to determine if we're going to activate headquarters.
Oh yes. Well, in this way, do we have any offensive points to spend?
Points we have 2.
We do.
We only need 1.
Do we have 2 offensive points? Okay. Is anybody going into offense?
I think that the Kiev headquarters has to direct this attack because
the Kiev headquarters going after Poltava.
The Kiev headquarters is what we're going to be able to use here to do the attack on Poltava.
Okay, so
we're probably going to want to take the Stuka on it and take both of the odd shifts from the headquarters. Whenever a headquarters launches an attack, you can get 1 column shift on every attack within range of the headquarters, or you could get 2 column shifts on 1 attack. It sort of simulates the increased ammunition supply for artillery barrages and so on.
All right, so we have I paid the 1 offensive point and it flipped over Army Group South. And just so you know, the cost of an offensive point is half an equipment plus half a fuel point, and those things are not easy to get. They're hard to come by. That's a real price you're paying. And when you're in offensive mode, your range shortens. You see it drop from 8 to 6 when we went in offensive mode, but this little white arrow means you get shifts when you attack. And you got your choice. You can either put a shift on every attack within that 6 hex range, basically, or you can put it all in 1 attack and take a double shift from your strategic headquarters. That's the guys with the 5 X's here, the army groups. These poor little Hungarian army headquarters with the 4 X's, they don't get that special trick. They don't. They can only do 1 shift in 1 attack, and that's it. Oh, and we were thinking about breaking down this guy during our special move phase. We wrote ourselves a note about that.
Well, maybe let's look at the odds. We have 2. Oh, we didn't have an extra. We did not have an extra
equipment point.
Equipment point to upgrade the 56 Panzer Corps.
Only if you want the, where is the 56? Oh, back here. Only if you want the Hungarians to just lump it. We've saved 1 equipment point to buy them consumer goods so their morale will go up. But if you want to tell the Hungarians too bad, this is your chance.
No, I think we should stick with our plan.
Okay. All right. So, you want to move around Poltava here and put that in shape?
All right. Well, we've got 1 Panzer division corps here, 47th Panzer Corps. So let's. I suppose the obvious place to move it is 1, 2, 3, and for it to launch its attack from there.
Okay.
And of course, we have underneath here we have the German. What is it? 2nd Army. So that's 22 attack points there. With 6 from the Hungarians, that's 28. That's exactly, now he's got 10. We need 2 more steps, don't we?
Okay, so if you take this Romanian and you break it down, you can get the division-sized units you need. So let's look at the Axis display. One of the things you have in this is your change box. And the Romanian mech corps can make change, and it can turn into a motorized infantry division and 2 tank divisions. So what we're going to do is we're going to put those in play and take this out. So these guys are now here.
And this is a matter of stacking. You're only allowed to have 1 large unit one medium, two medium units, and as many up to 3 small units, division size. But you can stack one of each, so we can and attacking out of a hex with them. I should say rather you can only attack out of a hex with one larger medium plus one division size small unit.
Right.
And that's why this is becoming important.
So,
to
for example, this hex will attack with the 1 Panzer, but if they, cough up a Romanian tank and move it here, then, whoops, then now instead of 12 points attacking across, they can get 14 through this 1 hex side to hit
that
Poltava.
will give us the 30 factors we need, because we can only attack from one larger medium unit out of the hex to the south, which means the best unit is 2nd German Army, and then 2nd Hungarian Army.
Right.
On the flank, and that will exactly give us 30 attack against the 10 Russian defense. That's a 3-to-1 -1 shift for the fortification.
Goes down to 2-to-1.
2-to-1. But if we put both of the headquarters ships on it, becomes a 4-to-1 attack.
All right, so we're putting both shifts on that one then?
Yeah, I think so, and we should also put a Stuka on it.
Okay, now we're going to call in the Air Force from the air display and have them assist. So we get the air mat, and we're going to call in a Stuka and what, an HE or a Ju-88?
Yeah, we want to have the best defense against the Russian fighters.
And we want our best fighters out to help them too?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. They're going to throw everything at us to try to stop this.
So for the missions, these guys are doing close support, trying to shift the odds. And this guy is escorting those bombers.
You can right-click the units too. You can right-click the airplane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's Ken Keller. He designed the Vassal kit and knows way more about this than we do.
Oh, wow. I'm glad you said that, Ken, because that's really useful.
So here, if I delete that, I can right-click on this airplane and put escort. And then boom.
Wow. Nice. Okay, I'm glad to know that. That's a nice shortcut.
All this playing, and we're just now getting the hang of that. Okay, so that's the Battle of Poltava shaping up. Do you want to do anything with those Hungarians and stuff in the backfield now? Are you looking at Dnipropetrovsk at all?
Well, we got the 2 armies there against those 2 corps.
Ah, these guys.
Yeah. But of course, I would guess, there was a militia there before. Some of the Soviet question mark units can be very weak. If we end up with something that's only 4 defense, we can get a 4-to-1 there. And we've got the other Stukas to place. Maybe we should do the Stukas there. And look, we can bring this Panzer up to kind of exploit. The 56, even though it's kind of weak, we could move it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4 to kind of assist, right? And, attack with the 2 Romanian armies.
Do you want to bring these Romanian...
Bring the other Romanian armor division in.
Yeah, I was going to say the mobile forces.
That's a good idea. It might change the odds, but can it reach?
I don't think so.
Yes, it can.
It can?
How?
They only move 5.
Southeast, across the river.
1, 2, 3.
No, they don't make it. They're 1 shy. See, they don't move 6. They only move 5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Still, you can get them both here, and if there's anything happening, they can exploit it.
Yeah, I mean, they might be useful. Yeah, those 2 divisions might be useful there.
So let's keep them handy.
And maybe, yeah, that looks good to me.
Do we want to throw airplanes on that?
I think so. I think we should Stuka it.
Really? Throw the big hammers on them, huh?
Yeah, because
okay.
If we get to advance there, and if we destroy them, we can advance with one of those armies right across the river, right?
Yeah.
Right. We'd get across the river in Zaporozhye. We'd have a bridgehead there. We'd have a panzer behind it. Maybe we should move. Maybe we should rail something over there, something else to some German unit.
You might also want to consider pulling either the Italians or the Romanian cavalry out of reserves.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that headquarters can spew reserves.
Hmm. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we rail? Well, why don't we rail the Romanian headquarters? And why don't we rail both of those units out of the reserve and send them down behind us?
We can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
looking.
let's send those reserves in.
Okay, the Axis reserves are here, and we can bring them in on this headquarters in attack mode. It can spew all the reserves at once during your movement phases. The guys who are not in attack mode, the guys who are in basic mode, they can issue forth one reserve unit, but during your opponent's turn, between his combat phase and his reserve movement phase. So they're very handy for plugging up holes. Did you want to rail these guys someplace, or did you want to walk them?
Well, I think, dude, we don't have any other major rail moves that I can see.
Okay.
So let's rail the Romanian cavalry directly behind here to
Okay.
help Betrust to reinforce those guys against counterattacks. And the Italians can't stack with Romanians, right?
No.
The different nationalities. So probably it wouldn't be a bad idea to send the Italian mechanized like over here,
Okay.
you know, or
Can,
you know,
can I
just
suggest something?
sure.
I would keep that guy in reserve.
You would
You
keep
know the Soviets are going to get frisky on their turn, and they're going to do something.
Yeah, and that guy will come in real handy if the Soviets go crazy.
Okay.
Mobile troops are much more useful than foot.
Right. Yeah, as reserves.
All right,
That's
so
true.
let's put him back. All right.
Okay. All right. So now, all right. So we've got two attacks in the south.
Right.
Need to put a question mark arrow on the mystery meats.
Right. We don't know what the odds are there.
Yeah, we don't know what the odds are. So let me get a. I don't have my markers open.
I got it. Let me get it. Boom. Question
Okay,
mark to
got it,
one.
good. Quick on the draw. Okay. The third Hungarian corps, probably stack it with the second Hungarian army.
Yeah, if we get a breakthrough, we're going to need to push guys through there.
We'll see if we can push. See how that does.
Keep the mobile guy on the headquarters because the Soviets have paratroops, so you always want to.
Pretty much we got the south. Well, there's the 34th now. Railing the 34th. I'm thinking maybe the 34th Corps might rail south into the same hex as the Romanian cavalry. Have this rail south to here, just to get another German unit with a heavy defense factor. That's a corps with the same defense value as a Romanian army. Might be useful to stack with one of the armies.
Okay.
Or,
where did you rail him? Oh, just kind of in the neighborhood?
It was from Brovary. It was next
right.
to Vienna.
Okay, so for the German rail then, they've used, let's see, they get a fresh 4, so now they've used 2 of their 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have anything back in Germany, do we? We've got everything. Okay, nothing in the back country.
No, nothing taking the scenic route.
Okay, it's beginning to worry me
okay.
as a German player. As a Russian player, I'm loving it.
Then between Orel and Tula, there's a bunch of Panzer Corps here with nothing to do.
Well, we can decide what to do with them.
What do you want to do? You have some unemployed Panzer Corps.
Yeah, I think we have to keep them in the area. We don't have to move them now. We can move them later if we want.
Okay.
They're gonna have to stay there, or the front is gonna cave in right there.
Right.
With all those shock armies there, right? We don't have anything really to replace them with yet.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So let's rotate them to say that we have decided not to do anything.
Okay.
All right. Then I think that's the whole line.
That's the whole, preliminary movement phase. Yeah, we've got, all right.
All right.
Looks like we've got 3 attacks.
It's now time for the Soviets to decide who they're going to intercept. Now let's look at what kind of Soviet interceptor groups we've got here. We've got, what can we put together? There's a pair of deuces if we need them.
Now, how many can we defend with? We can only defend with one bomber?
Well,
Or
they
we
can
defend
choose to
with-
attack just one guy.
You got red
No,
bolts,
I'm not
too.
talking about attacking. I'm talking about the red bolts. How many can we commit to one battle?
Oh, a pair.
Standard two.
Okay. Yeah, you know, as a Soviet player,
Hmm.
I would really like to commit 2 lightning bolts to defend the 44th Army.
The guy with his nose sticking out in front of Moscow.
Yeah, because I think holding that is so vital, and because it'll force the 46 Panzer out and it'll strengthen our line south of Moscow.
Okay, so you want a couple of these red lightning bolt guys,
Yeah.
and
to
they're
commit. Do the Germans have any fighters left over?
gonna do close support. Yeah, they're gonna need some. Well, actually, these guys really don't need that much, do
They
they?
don't need any fighters because the Germans only have that Romanian piece of junk.
You know,
And this,
you're right.
yeah.
So
they
those
don't
are
need it.
those are gonna fly naked because this Romanian piece of junk would have pretty crappy odds. 2 versus
Yeah, I mean,
4.
yeah, and they're fighter bombers, so they have good defense against
Yeah.
fighters.
Well, hey, somebody designed a decent airplane. Oh, wait a minute, those
Yeah.
are Americans, aren't they?
They copied them from the American, yeah, they're American planes, yeah, in 1939.
Okay, are we going to fly fighters against the Germans then?
You know, it might be nice to put our strongest fighter group on that attack.
Don't we have a 3-strength fighter around somewhere?
We do. We paid the fuel to move it up. The P-40s are up there.
Right,
If you grab the P-40s and one of the 2s,
right, like that.
yeah, and then we'd have a 0 attack on the 0 column on the air chart.
Okay, and then that is intercept.
Yeah, and we could roll a 6 and get lucky and do a DA result.
Well, we would have 5, and they have 3 plus 1. Oh, 3, 4, 5 plus 1 minus 1. Yeah, it'd be a big 0.
Yeah, that's probably better odds than we get on any of the others. The others are probably stronger, huh?
Well, I don't know. Let's look down here. They have 3, 4. They only have 4 down here. So we actually would have a +1 if we tried to stop this group.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
All right, let's try to stop the Poltava group then.
You want to use these
Oh,
guys?
but wait a
at
minute.
Poltava?
What is more important for the Soviets? Stopping the bridging of the river maybe is more important.
Well, whatever it is, these guys are moving.
Yeah, you know what? I'm really worried about the river. Let's drop those. Let's put the 5 on the river bombing in support of the Romanians.
Okay. We still have 2 red lightning bolts we could cast.
Let's put those 2 red lightning bolts on the attack of the Romanians. Let's try to blunt that.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the 2 red lightning bolts are coming here. And they are there to provide close support. Do they need an escort? Oh, well, all the Germans have is a 2, right? Well, we've only got 1 strength there.
Well, why don't we just bring an escort, one escort with it?
Okay, well, because all our escorts are pretty good, but all right,
Yeah, those are pretty good. We'll bring an escort.
we'll bring it in.
You know, and maybe we should just leave. I mean, what do you think? Just leave those fighters there, or should we intercept the other group with 4? That would be a -1. No, that would be a 0. Let's intercept the group at Poltava with the other 2 fighters.
Okay.
Let's inflict a real harm on the German Air Force.
Well, actually, we can do this if you don't mind. Oh, no, we don't want to risk him. Duh. Okay.
Yeah, let's not.
So
risk
these
it.
guys are going to come in, and they're going to intercept.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow. Well, these are big battles. You guys are watching the
This is huge air battling. This is the biggest air battling we've seen. Well, the Soviet Air Force has been recovering through the winter,
right.
so
It recovers slow, but boy, it had time. So, where do we want to start our campaign? In the north, in the south? Which battle
let's
first?
try the south. The south is kind of exciting looking.
Okay, let's go to the south. And you want to do the battle south of Dnipropetrovsk first,
I'll
right?
do the flips. Yeah, let me flip those Russian units over.
Oh yeah, let's see who's home.
So let's flip.
Are the Romanians gonna intercept anybody?
Oh my God, they're 2 3s. They're the strongest they could be.
Did you want the Romanians to intercept anybody?
No.
No, no.
They're just asking to die.
No, the Germans are going to suffer enough air losses as it is.
Okay, so they got 16-6. We're talking about a massive 2-1, right?
Oh my God, it's only a 2-1.
They didn't even get 3-1 odds. Oh my
No.
God.
The Russians are strong there. Wow.
Okay, the Russians have interceptors fighting first. They have a strength of 5.
Actually, stop for a sec. I think you only have 14 to them. Because to use the benefit of the heavy unit, you're going to want to throw that Panzer in.
Well, we made the attack initially for only the 2 Romanians. We can't change it to the Panzer participating now.
Okay.
Yeah, that was designated.
That would be unfair.
Which is really a shame because now we're going to roll 3 heavy
We
results.
thought, in all probability,
That there were a couple of
hoping that was
ones.
going to be a 4 defense strength, not a 6.
And if it had been 5 defense, you would definitely want the 2 remaining.
Absolutely.
So no,
either way, we were hoping that it would be less than 6. That's
Yeah,
why
we committed the 2 armies
Okay,
when we
do it,
declared the
do it.
battles. All right,
Um,
so the Russian attack in the air, they have 2 plus 3 is 5. The Germans have 3 plus 1 for that shield. Come on, break it up, guys. Plus 1 for that shield and minus 1. So the Germans have 4. The Soviets have 5. Let me get the air table so everybody can see that. And that is a plus 1 battle that the Soviets have. Somebody needs to roll for the VVS. Who's going to roll for the Soviet Air Force?
Okay.
I'm not feeling particularly powerful today.
Okay. Plus 1. And the result is a 4. So that is
That's
an
pretty
A
good.
abort. Okay, now that isn't too bad. Abort means that a mission aircraft is going to go home before it drops its bombs and take a hit. And
The
you
Stuka goes home.
and you have to choose a guy who's vulnerable in preference to one who's not. So the Stuka is going to flip and
Wow.
go home crying. There he is, right here, crying. And only this guy gets through to drop his bombs. But wait, there's more. Because the Russians have 2 airplanes flying in. Oh, and the Germans have no interceptors.
They get to
but they can shoot back
they
with
do
the
get
one
to
they have.
shoot back.
Okay, so hold on. This is
They
down
have a
here.
0 shot back at one of the fighters.
So they have 3 to 3 or 3 to the 2. I guess they'll shoot at the 3, right?
Yeah, that's the best one.
On the +0 column. Go ahead and roll it. We don't need this guy anymore. He
I'll roll
skates
it for
home.
the Germans. Here goes.
0 column.
Yeah, I just rolled a 2.
So
A 2.
the German escorts missed the P-40s.
They missed completely. They got this big whiff in the sky. Okay.
All the fighters go home.
So the fighters go home. And
Soviet escort goes home.
right. Yeah, we don't need that
Right.
escort anymore. Nothing
That was
came up.
pretty dramatic. That was pretty dramatic.
And so there is a 1 die for the Reds.
Yeah, now you subtract the dice. The Soviets have got 2, the Germans have got 1, so the Soviets have a net 1. So this battle, this 2-1 attack, is going to be a 2-1 with 1 support die roll working for the defense.
Wow. Yeah. They overcome, the Luftwaffe got overcome down there. So that's a,
So
The Romanians are going to regret this attack.
I
yes,
think they're going to.
It
So
is
this is a 2-1 with a negative red lightning bolt. So
You got
are
it.
we ready?
yep, let's roll it.
Here it goes. Bang.
Okay, the result is no effect for the red lightning bolt. So it's a
Nope, that was
straightforward
unlucky.
at 2-1. Yeah, that's really unlucky.
That was unlucky.
2-1
Or a
defender
2-1 is
pressed.
Defender pressed. Wow. It ended up working anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So the Soviets have got the option now. They can retreat everyone.
I
2
think we have
hexes.
to take a step loss to hold the hex.
Or they could take a step loss and hold the ground. And yeah, I think.
they can absolutely have to take a step loss.
Okay, so
With all
whoops.
that glory in the air, the ground army still failed us.
the casualty mat. So here on the casualty mat, this 3-4, it gets moved. We'll flip that over. That's half a morale point that the Soviets just lost. Okay, wow, that worked in spite of everything. So
Yeah,
let's
well, almost. It was crazy.
That was dramatic.
so let's
Yeah,
tidy
it
this
was.
up. Yeah, that should have been a lot
Kind of
worse for the Romanians.
Totally a reversal. It was going so terrible in the air that you didn't think that anything would happen here.
Okay, are we doing Poltava next?
Yeah, Poltava should be next.
Okay, the Soviets are coming in with fighters. They got strength 2, and 2 is 4. The
Hey, Lance,
Germans,
you want to roll that again? You fighter, yeah, you're doing good with the Russian fighters.
the Germans also have 3 plus 1 for this shield, 1 for that shield, and minus 1 for that is 4. So it's 4 to 4 is 0. Okay, Lance, are you rolling for the 4 on the 0 column is a D. Okay, so they damaged 1 incoming. So
And
let's
again,
see what that is.
It's the Stuka.
That's the Stuka who's going to get flipped, but at least he drops his bombs.
Yeah, at least he gets dropped. That's good.
You got to die in droves.
And now the Germans shoot back. They have 3. Well, these are both 3. So they're rolling on the 0 column.
All right, let me try to get revenge here with the German fighters. Here goes 1, 2, 3, bang, boom. Nope. Again, I rolled a 2.
A 2
Terrible.
on the 0 column is a whiff. Okay, so
Terrible. So what if didn't get it? We got our bombers shot up, and we didn't shoot up the Soviet fighters much at all.
okay.
Ain't out going, you ain't.
Okay, so now the battle is a 4 to 1, but the Germans have got 3 close support lightning bolts, and
Yes.
including red.
So I will roll that. And on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, bang.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, it is 3 there. We do have a Panzer attacking in that attack.
4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1, because you've met the armored
It's a
qualification.
breakthrough. Holy crap.
7 to 1,
It's
6 is a breakthrough. That is big, big news. So
oh, wow.
all of this stuff dies, right?
Yep.
Yep. They just wiped it out. A whole army just
Whoops.
destroyed it.
And let me get the casualty mat here. So that guy dies.
The brilliant Romanian tanks saved the day.
He dies.
Did we take into account the fortification there?
Yes.
I don't think so. 10? No, we didn't.
We didn't. Okay, it's a 6 to 1 then, not a 7 to 1.
Still a breakthrough.
It's still a breakthrough. Okay.
Okay.
Didn't change anything then. Good. All
Okay.
right, wow.
So now in a breakthrough, normally you can advance 1 unit after combat. But when you roll a breakthrough result, which is a miraculous 6 with 3 shifts, that never hurts. You can advance a stack into the hex.
Is there a fort in there?
And after advancing, your guys with the white
It
movement
wasn't a
allowance
fort,
can
it was
advance an additional hex.
improved entrenchment, a light entrenchment.
Did you get a pure breakthrough result or one of those slash results?
Slash.
Isn't it inclement because you had the fort?
Yes, the fort provided a shift.
Oh,
So it's not a BT, it's a DE,
It's
right?
it's just a DE, yeah. It's
Oh,
not a breakthrough.
Well, then you can
Right.
advance 1 guy into the hex.
You just can only move 1
Run
unit.
that by Kevin, make sure I got that right.
Right, he's right.
Ground
we didn't-
combat.
We totally.
So 3 to 1 goes to 6 to 1. It's a
Wait.
split result, yeah. Breakthrough or DE, and you get a DE if the guy had any shifts.
Right.
Wait on this. I think you were hitting. It was 30 attacking 10, so 3 to 1.
Oh, we had 2 headquarters.
I think the 2 to 1. That double headquarters shift makes it
Yeah.
4 to 1.
Oh,
Yeah. No, we had the right odds. Yeah, that's right. We had
Make
calculated.
it 7 to 1.
okay, so we did the math right the first time.
Yeah.
Right. So does that change the?
Yeah, now it's a real breakthrough.
It's a pure
Oh,
breakthrough.
it's a pure BT. Okay, it is a
Yeah.
breakthrough.
Or we'll just
Okay.
write it really is a breakthrough.
Yeah. Okay, it really is. Okay, we did have the right odds right away. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the Panzer can go. They all advance to here.
Well, first fill the hex with whatever you want in the hex. Then guys
Okay,
with a
so-
white movement allowance can move another hex.
Let's put these guys there. We've got a full stack, right? We can do that.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Yeah,
anybody
we-
with the white movement allowance can go 1 additional hex.
So these 2 can go up to here then.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Wow,
The
this
good
is
thing the Russians have Kiev defended better.
once again the dice are hot for the Germans.
My gosh, that's crazy. They broke right a hole right there, because the Russians, I mean, so the Russians don't have any reserves, so we go to the regular German move. But do we want to go through that hole or just hold on to the town and
So-
just fall back on the town and
You're looking down at Poltava?
yeah, Poltava. Do we want to just
Well, now remember, it's clear weather for the Soviets too.
and move Army Group south up to it and we're ready to launch?
Yep.
All right, the rest of the line, I don't see. We've got it's almost 9.
Yeah.
We could stop now. I think the Soviet turn's going to be a long one, maybe because
I
of the
know
weather.
the Soviet turn is going to be a long one
Yeah, it's going to be a long
because
one. They've got a lot to deal with, so it might end up being an hour and a half to 2 hour turn.
well, why don't we have a discussion about what the Soviet turn should be? Let's do a little
Okay.
philosophy check and leave ourselves some notes here.
Okay.
The line is really straightened up,
Yep.
but
it
I can
has.
see where the Soviets need to improve their defenses around Zaporozhye for sure. I think that's a priority.
Well, that's absolutely right. I think that our fortification of Kharkov was very timely.
Yeah.
Very timely. Given the pressure on that spot. I mean,
Well,
we did everything we could to reinforce Poltava. We sent an army there. Now the army's gone. The Germans wanted it. They took it. Now we have to decide how we want to respond to that. The Germans were hesitant to go through, which was good news, because I'm not sure we could have responded to them going through there. Looking at it from the Soviet point of view, I'm not sure we had much to counterattack with. I think maybe
well,
what
you know,
we want to do, as the Russians, what I might think of doing is taking those 2 shock armies south to defend Kharkov and to defend.
they're both on the rail, aren't they? And not in an enemy zone
They're
of
both
control.
on the rail. They disengaged them, so they freed them up. So maybe we should just pull them back and have them in the reserve behind the south and say, look, Ukraine's important too. And just entrench, just massively, look to entrenching. Hopefully we get a mud turn next turn and just entrench the whole place between Tula and Kursk and just make a giant fortress out of that area and just pull those shock armies south.
Well, let's look at the weather. The weather in
April.
we're ending March, so we're starting April. Okay, it's 2/3 mud and 1/3 clear. So, and there's 4 turns in the month. So figure 2, at least half, probably 3 turns of mud in there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So, I'm thinking maybe here the Germans, they got all these dinged panzers. They got, 2 in the reserve, 1 up there north. They got they got 4 dinged panzers, for crying out loud. It's going to take them 2 turns just to get their panzers up to full strength.
No,
If
it's
nothing
only
else
going to
goes wrong.
take 2 turns to get them up to full strength.
Right.
Put your Soviet hat on. It's only 2 turns.
Right. Well, what I'm thinking is, where the Russians might want to attack, or maybe rest themselves, but they have an opportunity to grab back that forest tax.
Oh, well,
that the Germans gave up.
Yeah, the forest hex is a given. In fact, they could shorten their line just by
Right, and in fact, and then below it is that wonderful Bulge River hex where they've got the river line.
right.
So they're picking up 2, really good hexes for their line, and in fact, there's no reason for their line to advance.
But
along
Jeff,
that river.
here's the problem that I see. Since this 3rd Panzer Army is in supply, if there is clear weather next turn and both of these shock armies have bugged out, I would take that Panzer Army and roll it south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could stick it like down here or something and really create a lot of trouble with it. If it's clear weather next
all
turn.
the other units down there are out of supply. You're going to have an unsupported nothing attack, and you're going to be attritioning German armor for nothing. Because you're not going to be able to do anything with the rest of the army. It's all out of supply. It's out of supply for 2 more turns.
Well, that's true. Plus, it's surrounded by mud turns. But
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, no, absolutely. The Germans, because that headquarters is out, we can pull those shock armies back.
Well, and now here's the deal. Remember, if next turn is a mud turn, then you get to go hunting for full strength units. Because if they retreat, they're going to lose a step. That's like the
Well,
best possible combat
I'd
result.
rather hunt in the south, but let me tell you what I'm thinking strategically. We shouldn't be thinking tactically about killing a couple steps. We should be thinking strategically.
That's
The
true.
Germans want to move that headquarters from Kiev to Poltava. If we deploy those shock armies around around Kharkov,
Yeah.
they will be hesitant to advance that headquarters there because if those two shock armies pull up with air support and two headquarters shifts, they could just bounce the Germans right out of there and knock that headquarters out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
if there's some tank corps, because a shock
Right.
army is a 12 and a tank corps is 3 more. That's
Right.
15
So,
pushed through a hex side. That's a lot.
I think look at the German dilemma is they don't have decent towns to forward deploy the headquarters, and we'd much rather have them put that headquarters at Romney, where it seriously overlaps with Army Group Center and is not efficient. We would rather have them do that than have it at Poltava.
Well, they can stack
what-
headquarters. They would put their other, if they moved it only part where they put it here where this Hungarian is,
Yeah.
Lubny.
But it's kind of a waste to knock a headquarters out for 3 turns to get 3 hexes.
Yeah,
isn't it?
agreed. That
Yeah.
that
So,
is
I mean,
suboptimal.
This strategically screws with the German logistics and the preparation for the South. So I think in a way it could have profound ramifications for the German leap forward in the South in the summer. So I think it'd be a neat little trick to pull on them.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, killing a couple steps up in the center of the line isn't as much as hindering that large German offensive they're hoping to get down there.
Right. What do the Soviets get in April? Oh yeah, they get a stack of tank cores. They'll be
ton.
buying those like so much candy.
We can fill the reserves with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not that great on defense, but boy, they rock on offense.
I think the Russians are looking pretty strong, and so.
Remember the
I
last
think
time we said that?
Yeah. Well, no, I think that they do. I think that the Germans are seriously hindered, and if it's the thing is that Moscow looks secure to me right now. If they start advancing, look, we just gained all the ground in front of Moscow back, except that crazy hex the Germans were willing to die in droves to keep. One thing I might do is still try to dislodge the Germans from that hex, or possibly try to dislodge the Germans from the hex below the reservoir.
Well, here, let's look at this hex in front of Moscow. Let me zoom in here for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, the Germans have got 12, right?
Yeah.
All right, if we maxed everything out, if that 8 also had a tank and we built another tank, so that's 11 and 11, that's 22.
Yeah.
Then we can get 6 plus 2 here is 8 and 22 is 30 to 12. Boy, that's not that great. That's a 2 to 1, goes down to a 3 to 2, goes down to a 1 to 1.
Well,
now, if we put the 2 shifts from the headquarters on that hex and threw in the whole Russian Air
it goes
Force,
up to 2 to 1, yeah.
then we might have something. How much do we
I
want
think-
that hex?
I think we want it badly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I hate to agree, but boy, I sure agree.
I gotta say, look at how dang close he is to Moscow. It's really not. It's not acceptable to have them that close.
No. And it's not acceptable to have them in good terrain with trenches. At the very least, the attack will bust their trench and they'll be buying that
what's
trench.
really great is if we get that hex, then we have the good terrain with the trench. And he's 3 hexes away from Moscow instead of 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's an important hex. And it's also an important hex for flanking once we take that hex, these troops by the reservoir have to fall back. Because then they're surrounded, trapped up against the reservoir. And that means we get that forest hex as well, and the Germans have to defend on open ground.
Okay, I'm leaving ourselves a note to attack that hex.
Yeah. I think it's a key to kind of loosening up the German position up around Moscow and putting them under pressure.